Narcissists can pump out empty promises faster than hamsters have babies and play the victim like a damn professional. But like anything else that rolls off their tongue, it's nothing but a bunch of wah 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 wah. Because unlike fine wine and cheddar, the only thing that gets better over time is that they get better at being worse, which means more suffering and danger for you. Because these individuals inevitably evolve into functional sadist, as they are not just a tick off in how they think or behave a hair abnormally than most. There is a qualitative difference in their operating system. It is a difference of kind, not degree. And trying to deal with a narcissistic psychopath as if they share the same moral and emotional framework is like trying to put out a grease fire with water. In both cases, you're screwed. Their needs, desires, and comfort are the only thing that they care about or see worthy of consideration. Others exist below them. They don't see you as having equal moral standing, autonomy, and value beyond your utility for their purposes. But that isn't the same as that they don't see you as a living being. They absolutely recognize others as living, breathing, sentient beings capable of suffering. They are aware of social norms, right and wrong, and clearly know what rules are. And rules in their mind are for everyone else, or for them to tweak and adjust as they see fit, which is always going to ensure that they win, come out on top, stay one step ahead of you and everyone else. Control is like their proof of existence. Power is like a substitute for intimacy. Studying others becomes second nature before they even learn to tie their shoes. They know how to provoke. Guilt when they want control. Hope when they want you to stay. Your flinch tells them that they've got your fear. Your begging tells them they've got your dependence. Your silence tells them they've broken your will. They lure you in with their shape-shifting and mimicking because they have learned that a sense of familiarity is the meal ticket to gaining access to both ammunition against you and control of you. And by learning precisely what triggers you personally that they can apply to their already well-established buttons to push manual, this behavioral algorithm is then used as a weapon of control to direct your behavior in a way that benefits them. They don't stop when a tactic fails. They adapt. Every failed attempt teaches them what doesn't work and sharpens their ability to find what does. Like a virus mutating to outsmart antibiotics, they mutate their cruelty to bypass your defenses. Because unlike most people, they're not burdened by self-reflection or guilt. They don't introspect. They don't recall. They observe, tweak their responses, and keep whatever gets the results that they desire. And because they see themselves as being the supremacy of the human race, everything they do is rationalized. The blame or wrong isn't just projected outward, it's rightfully so, as you are lesser. They have no brakes, no limits. A normal person's conscience acts like a red light. Guilt, shame, empathy, they all say, "Whoa, Nelly, stop it, you've gone too far." A narcissist, that light doesn't even blink. They can mimic hitting the brakes. Fake apology, crocodile tears, but under the hood, there is no engine for remorse. And because they're immune to shame, it makes them relentless. They learn to mimic appropriate responses while feeling nothing and are willing to escalate without limit as they have no red light, no filter, no conscience, no guilt, no remorse, no mercy for you. And this tolerance builds like a drug. Their psychological cruelty stops giving them the same rush after a while. And just like an addict chasing a stronger high, they need to escalate. Mocking isn't enough. They need humiliation. Fear isn't enough. They need terror. Tears aren't enough. They need screams. Slamming a door, blocking your exit, standing too close. These micro acts of violence are test runs. If you freeze, flinch, back down, they know they've unlocked the next level, even if they've never laid a hand on you before. Once they've crossed that line, the barrier is shattered. There is no going back. They are not haunted by shame or guilt. They do not have that leash. In their mind, if I can break your mind, I can break your body. And if I can break your body, I own you entirely. From there, every fight carries the risk of escalation, because cruelty is no longer about if. Each escalation resets the baseline. What was once too far becomes the new normal. Yesterday's unspeakable act is today's warm-up. There's no finish line, no satisfaction point, because their hunger isn't for resolution. It is for domination. They develop sophisticated methods of psychological torture where your pain becomes the goal itself. Causing pain becomes the ultimate expression of power over another living thing. They orchestrate the suffering to assert dominance, stripping you of your autonomy and reducing you to a helpless object. They actively pursue, prolong, and intensify it, because this they find enjoyable and rewarding. Unjustified, pleasurable motive behind this torture, not the suffering itself, is what makes them sadistic. This profound violation of another's dignity shows the true vile nature of these creatures. Because when someone hurts you out of anger or desperation, there's at least emotional investment. But when someone hurts you with the same casual indifference as they would show swatting at a fly, knowing full well you're suffering, but simply not caring, that is a moral void. They see your tears, understand your pleas, recognize that you are a living being, but your well-being simply doesn't factor into their decision-making matrix. The suffering becomes not just acceptable collateral damage, but an additional source to satisfaction, confirming their power and superiority. But the single most irrefutable piece of evidence that you are not dealing with a variation of a normal human is that a person who can treat their own offspring with the same calculated disregard, cruelty, is the immutable law of human nature. For virtually all mammals, especially humans, the single most powerful biological drive is the survival and well-being of one's offspring. This isn't a choice or a feeling. It is a deep, primal, neurological, and hormonal imperative, hardwired into our DNA. It's why parents will run into burning buildings for their children without second thought. Fundamental difference with narcissistic psychopaths is that a person who can treat their own offspring with the same calculated disregard, cruelty, as they would a stranger or an enemy, is defying the most fundamental law of human nature. They are demonstrating that this primal biological imperative is subordinate to their own ego, needs, and desires. It reveals the complete absence of human decency at its most fundamental level. That is not a disordered personality. They are categorically, not just behaviorally, different. And why this is so important and matters is because it means that traditional rehabilitation approaches are a pipe dream. Neuroplasticity works within existing neural frameworks, but it cannot create an entire new moral architecture. You can't grow a conscience any more than you can grow a missing limb through willpower. The reality is that dangerous people can look charming. Family can be the most dangerous person you'll ever meet. Some people aren't lost. Some people just like the dark. The hardest truth is the most devastating realization for those who've experienced this is that if they can treat their own children, the person they should love the most, with such cruelty, then your suffering means undoubtedly nothing to them. This isn't just about being selfish or having anger issues. This is about a complete absence of human conscience, a fundamental difference as the chemical composition that makes grease fires impossible to extinguish with water. And just as you wouldn't keep throwing water on grease, hoping that the laws of physics would change, you cannot keep hoping the laws of human nature will suddenly activate. You are dripping water in a grease fire, and eventually you're going to look around and your entire life is going to be up in ashes. The evidence of their nature is absolute. Empathy and compassion will always be weaponized. No exceptions, no growth, no maybe they've learned. The physics are immutable. Your kindness is not a tool for healing them. It is fuel for their fire. It's like putting out a grease fire. The only way to do it is to smother that shit. Shut that door tightly, deadbolt it, and put in about 100 screws for good measure, because they will not stop fucking with you until they destroy you completely. That you can guarantee. So fight for you. Save you, because you are worth saving. Focus on you. Fuck the narcissist, or whatever you want to call them.